and welcome back to the Growth Mindset Collective with Nikki Hall. How are you, Nikki, today?
Hello, I'm good.
That's awesome. So we recently had a Mother's Day here in Alberta. So I hope you guys, whoever celebrated, also had a great one. Did you have a good one, Nikki?
I had a very nice time with my son and my daughter-in-law. Yes, indeed.
That's awesome. All right, so welcome everyone to another powerful session here. And today we are jumping into mental freedom, great leaders, thoughtful followers. So, in a world filled with noise, opinions, friends, constant influence, one of the greatest forms of freedom is the ability to think clearly, intentionally, and independently. True leadership is not about control, status, or being the loudest voice in a room. And I've heard that many times. And being a thoughtful follower does not mean blindly agreeing. It means having the wisdom to discern, learn, reflect, and choose consciously. So, this conversation, we're gonna jump deeper. And as always, I'll wait to see what Nikki has to say. The
Well,
floor is yours.
thank you. We all, a lot of us now want to be looked upon as leaders, and we're all starting somewhere, and we all want to go somewhere much bigger, much better, much higher. And we have to be careful who we use as examples to learn to be a great leader or a thoughtful follower. And while I was in the precipice of that learning curve in trying to mimic and become that person, I centered out, I picked three of my multimillionaire friends to watch, and they allowed me to be in their presence while they were in certain environments so I could see this. And in this day and age, a lot of us want to be the leader. We want to be the influencer. We want to be the authority. We want to be the platform. We want to be the one speaking in the room. But you know what? I didn't see those three friends. I didn't see any of that in them. They waited to come into the meeting. Somebody else was that person, and that somebody else took the meeting and was leader of the meeting. They didn't feel like they had to be the power of influence because when they walk in, their quietness, it has such a discipline and such a center, and their purpose has such vision that their influence and their authority walks in before them and speaks through their aura, so to speak. Like if you were to look at, the 10 people in the conference room, you would decide without anybody speaking, you would have to decide on a person to trust solely through an essence of influence and authority. And that would come through in their presence, and sometimes it comes in before they come in. Um, like the Dalai Lama, he has a presence that's so big, he'll fill the room before he actually comes in.
Somehow I knew
So
you were gonna mention him.
there's no, yeah, like he is such an excellent, excellent person to use as a great leader because he's simultaneously a thoughtful follower, and that really seems to be the key for having a power of influence in business today. What are your thoughts there, Ava?
I totally agree, and I knew you were gonna mention him. My sixth
Yeah,
sense told me she's gonna bring him up again, like we talked about him in the other episode. So if you missed it, go back a few episodes back. But
yes.
go ahead, Nikki.
But he's a fantastic example of that.
Oh
And
yeah.
there's other speakers where you would go into an arena to see them speak, and you pay a lot of money for this, but their their presence is now branded. Like there's no uh, there's no uh, blindness, there's no passivity, there's no weakness. there's thoughtfulness, there's agreement on your presence of mind in being a great leader. That means that you have your vision, your understanding, your goal, and you know deep down inside who you are, and your essence is coming from you. It's not going out and to you, which is a position that a lot of us have, is to, we still look to whatever it is that we want, while we should be looking within us and seeing what we have that we enjoy and we grow. And that becomes and causes us to become an exceptional leader,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and that also gives us the confidence to be a thoughtful follower. You know, like these three millionaire friends that I chose to follow for about 10 years, when they were in the following position, it was really funny because they have a big presence and they're very good at what they do. But outside of that, they don't know what they're doing. And they're very clumsy and they're highly lacking in knowledge. So you know, you could relate to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if they're in a room where Ava is talking about her influences and her wisdom and sharing her nuggets of growth, these people don't know about it or don't know how to go about. They don't look like they don't know that, but they don't have a presence that would eclipse Ava in her teaching. Also, they're there and they'll ask, pardon me for fundamentally for using this simple word, but they'll ask the stupid questions and they'll admit, what am I supposed to do? Yeah, I don't get it. And there's nothing, you feel no essence of shame, embarrassment, humility from them, um, humiliation from them not knowing. Like they're really sincere, and sometimes it's quite funny because there's this really big uh, successful person in a room trying to do something really simple and can't do it. You know, so it's a great equalizer in knowing that your discipline is in who you are to become the great leader. And it also affects being the thoughtful follower. What were you going to say, Ava?
Not sure, but just kind of reflecting back, which is these people like truly know themselves, the core of who they're being. And, Dr. Joe Dispenza talks about the wholeness, and, what happens, a lot of people, they tend to, they don't know themselves well. They take things from wherever they can, kind of like, throw paint here, throw paint there, and then see what sticks. Then some people become loud about it, obnoxious. Then, for a moment they're good, whatever. So it's like the energy scattered everywhere, right? Whereas
Yeah,
like Dalai Lama, for example, he knows his true essence, he knows his core, his wholeness, and he doesn't have to prove it to anyone or anything. He's well balanced, and it takes a person to reach that level. It's like, I mean, there's a lot of well put people together, don't get me wrong, but for the most part, a lot of people don't know themselves as much as they should. They don't master themselves, and they keep going outward trying to fill themselves either with stuff or things or do silly things. Um, yeah, so there's a lot. I mean, life is a learning, of course. I'm not saying you're gonna know everything all once, but you definitely do feel that person that is well put together, grounded, to the core, and you just know it. You don't have to ask anything, But I think it
yeah.
also takes a person to realize that sometimes, because some people is
Mhm.
like, ah, they'll just dismiss it. But you have to look beyond that. Like, what is their true power, and stuff like that. So it's great leaders like that make a
Yeah.
difference in this world.
Yes. Well, we're great leaders at all different levels in our lives. Like, you
Mm-hmm.
know, like Sir Richard Bronson, he's a genius in his own right.
Yep.
And yet you can go to some places and you'll find him in the back row with a notepad or with some paper, And he'll furiously be writing while there's a speaker up there. And you'll say, "Hey, what are you doing here?" Like, I've heard so many people say this story. We've seen him there, and we saw some, one of the other speakers say, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And he'll tell you, "I'm here to learn." you
Yeah.
know and and he's literally there to stay in touch and learn. We all come in inexperienced. We all come in, having worked once under somebody. We all come in, um, not developed in a certain way and in a certain manner. So that's where our being a good follower comes in.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it, I think the core of the point for me is to be a
Definitely.
constant learner. Um, Constant learner and a sharing person. So you learn, you acquire the intelligence, you do what you exercise in the certain capacity, and then you share. So then you become a good leader, and then you continue to respect others in fields that you're not in or you want to go in. And don't be afraid to admit you don't know this, or just like Sir Richard Bronson, write frantically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Learn.
Yeah. Life is definitely learning all
Yes.
the time because even when
Yeah.
you're like, for example, you're just a kid, then you're a teenager, you learn other stuff, then you adulthood, then you go shift into other things and so on, and of course we know, right? We know the rest. It keeps going.
Yes. Yes.
And then we
Like
get our
thoughtful.
golden hair and then we still learning.
Yeah. Well, I could bring this up again too, which I bring up a lot. And that was my grand's, who was like 104 years old. She called me into the hospital. And, well, the nurses called me into the hospital, and I'm like, "What's going on?" And Grand said two things: "I'm leaving today, and I learned my last lesson." You know, and that is such a great example of a life learner. Like I said, "What did you learn?" Because it's like she learned the last thing before she leaves. Like, this could be like the golden egg. This is from the goose that lays the golden eggs, right? And she said, "It's none of your business."
Wow. Oh.
Yeah, yeah. But she was very thrilled because she learned her last lesson and she knew she was leaving that day.
Mm-hmm.
So talk about leadership and following.
Yeah.
Like, she had that dynamic in spades. Like, it was wonderful. So, as a thoughtful follower, I think we should ask questions like, is this leadership healthy? Is this producing integrity? Is this helping me grow? Uh, does this align with my values? Is there accountability here for me? And is there the wisdom that I'm looking for? And if you've got that,
Those are great
that,
questions. I would write them down. Whoever's
yeah,
listening, yeah, seriously, you whoever's listening, do take time answer those because quality questions make a difference. You can ask some crappy questions and you'll still be circling, but when you start asking quality questions, your mind starts thinking differently. So write those down.
yes,
And if you miss
yes,
them, rewind and jot them down.
yes. Like leadership, secure leadership can handle thoughtful followers because secure leaders are not threatened by growth in other people. Like, a good leader doesn't have to prove herself. Never. Because there's somebody asking questions and not understanding. There's no defensiveness there, but there has to be control too. Like, in a meeting, Ava will tell you this. I have, and especially in the mastermind group right now, and I think a lot of people have that, is no DMs, no conversation, during the learning, because when there's somebody teaching and somebody taking the leadership role, the to be a good follower, you can't engage in a simultaneous conversation and take the attention and have a conversation while the leader is trying to give you a perspective, so there is dynamics included in a group when you move into a leadership and a following mentality, and especially in a group where you're all professionals. Like imagine where you're being in a group where you each pay $100,000 to sit at the table with each other and do this masterminding. Like the people who are paying that kind of money have a lot of leadership skills, but you have to learn to take your position without any insecurities. You
Yeah.
have to take your following position without insecurities. Like you have to be in an environment where you feel safe enough. And that has to be because you've anchored yourself.
Mhm.
Right, Ava?
That's right. And did you want to mention the mastermind group you are thinking about? Did you want to mention that here in case somebody wants to reach out and talk to you about it more?
Sure. Uh,
The perfect topic.
I am putting, here's the thing. When you level up, and Ava, I'm going to pull you in, sorry. And when you're looking at, Ava's looking at polishing another part of her business and streamlining part of her business, which is what we all do. We're all looking at a part of our business where we're trying to be efficient, more effective, and so she's looking at streamlining, and I'm looking at I leveled up. So I need a bigger system for automation, and I need more facility for being more practical in all of the topics of business because they've all grown a bigger footprint. So I am putting together a mastermind group of where 10 of us are going to come together, and not unlike a board of directors, where we all have our different specialties, and we're all going to come in and we're all going to help each other. We're going to share information and we're going to move simultaneously together. Like Napoleon Hill, I think it was Napoleon Hill, that said, where two minds come together, one or other great mind comes together, where neither one of us, neither one of those two minds would be able to think of this on their own. And yet you would make a huge dynamic step forward in your growth and in your ability. So I'm putting together a group. It'll be finalized all this month. So if you're interested in joining the group, I would ask you to think about three things that you need to learn. And I'm going to ask you about three things that you can share. There is a financial investment. So if you can't see your financial investment growing 5 times or 10 times as much as the investment in the group, I want to encourage you not to join us. We are worker bees, we are leaders, and we are followers, and we're looking for that giant momentum of move forward. So we're literally practicing good leadership, excellent fellow. How's that? What's our title here?
Growth mindset. Leadership.
Yes, that's cheating. We're literally going to practice being great leaders and thoughtful followers
That's
in
right.
this.
Exactly. With a growth mindset. Because it's got to grow.
Yes,
You can't just go down.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, reach out to Nikki if you like to commit or talk further, and she'll fill you in with all the details, of course. So, anything else you'd like to add today, Nikki, or wrap it up for today?
Well, there's so much I could say. Don't be a blind follower though. Don't be loyal to blindness. Just be a thoughtful, loyal follower.
That's
How's
right.
that?
That's beautiful. I love it. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I thought you had more. All right. Well, in that
oh,
case,
I have a ton more, but I'm not gonna. I think we've covered enough, you know.
Paramount, yeah. So, may we become people who lead with integrity then, think with clarity, and live with awareness. Because in a world full of noise, actually, one of the greatest acts of courage is to remain grounded in truth, wisdom, and intentional thoughts. So, till next time, wish you guys a wonderful day, and we'll see you in about 2 weeks again with a brand new topic. So, bye, everyone. Thank you, Nikki, for coming, and see you next time as well.
Bye.